Hello, my loves, and welcome to Shots of Serenity, where you can find dope conversations and a peace of mind. This podcast is not meant to be a replacement for counseling or psychotherapy. I encourage each and every one of you to seek out a licensed helping professional as you see fit. This podcast was established as a safe space to continue the conversation of mental health and all of its manifestations. Now, let's get into it. Hello, my loves, and welcome back to another episode of Shots of Serenity podcast. My name is Jasmine St. John, and this is a beautiful space to land where we explore ways to welcome peace and love into our lives through mindfulness, soul care, and self-exploration. How are you, love? How are you doing? What's coming up for you? If this is your first time listening, we love to start each episode off by really checking in with ourselves, seeing what's up, and definitely invite us all to go beyond I'm good, I'm okay, I'm chilling, but really see what's up, how we feeling. So we got some housekeeping things. One friendly reminder that our Q1 dates for the soft landing are out now. So by the time of this episode, our January one would have already been released. So how have I been feeling? Well, it's still, at the time of this recording, it is still January. And honestly, I feel like I have been having natural opportunities to slow down into the new year. Like I'm not rushing. I didn't feel rushed. Like naturally, my sessions were a little bit more spread out. I didn't have a lot of sessions. I wasn't stressed about what that looked like financially, because if many of you guys don't know, I am a therapist, but I am like self-employed. So when I work, I get paid. If I don't work, I don't get paid. So I have been content and okay with being able to kind of slow down, especially coming from the holidays. And respectfully, fall is always typically busy for us because we got a lot of birthdays. We have our anniversary. It's the holidays. And so I was out of town from October to November. And then we had Thanksgiving. Our anniversary is the last day of November. Then we had Christmas, New Year's, my partner's birthday is the beginning of December, as well as like some other birthdays that we have. And so it just felt like we were always on the move, but a beautiful opportunity to not be working and to like be with family, be with ourselves, not have to like focus on work or having to produce. And so I must say, like, I'm feeling good. And I am trying to mentally prepare for like locking in. And I feel like I have been. I feel content with the way I've been showing up at work. In business, we launched our visual component. And so it was interesting because today's topic is about the word of the year. And I was going to say that I've been trying to just steward my time and my energy well. And that's actually Jessica's word, stewardship. And I feel like I've been doing that, learning when I need to rest and not beating myself up for that, knowing when there's a container to do notes and do like the tedious work that I don't want to do, knowing when to energetically shut down sessions. I started that this year of really creating a routine before I start sessions, when I'm done with the session, in between session. And so obviously not perfect at it all. I actually need to get on top of shutting down my day energetically from sessions. If you have been tuning in for a while, I think I've talked before about being intentional about changing my clothes, whether I am having the session virtually all day at home or if I'm actually physically connecting with people or being in the office. So I need to do a little bit better with that. And then also taking spiritual baths and spiritual showers and kind of just like praying at the end. But yeah, what are some other updates in my life? Oh, I also went on a 3-day fast, which I also talked about on my Instagram. And so this, at the time of the recording, is like the first full week since the fast. And it's been interesting seeing my relationship with food and like my impulsive desires and trying to subside some of those desires and not like act on them. Um, as well as like how my relationship with food and like learning how to create my plate and all the things have been going. So I feel like we haven't done a check in a while. I did kind of drop a little life update kind of in 2 episodes from this one. And so not something I'll just keep saying all the time until I'm ready to figure out that transition. So if you have not, connect with episode 220, where we talked about what the soft landing is. I'm excited about this episode because this is episode 222, and I love the number 2 and the number 4. And so, yeah, it's funny because at the top of the year, they say like by now people lose motivation or they fall off. And that's kind of mean, but I get it. It's true. It's valid. And so I wanted to have a conversation about kind of how I've been setting the tone a little bit for the year and invitation for you to do what resonates with you and kind of check in and see how you set the tone for the year. What does that look like? We've had conversations before about calendar wise, yes, this is the new year. A lot of people are new year, new me, new year resolutions. And the reality is we live in society. And so there's a balance of like, it is the top of the year. We have a fresh 365 days. And so it is nice to be able to figure out what you want this next year for you to look like and set those intentions. Energetically, we know that we are still in hibernation. So resting while you're slowly having these thoughts or slowly planning is also very important. Being able to slow down, to check in, maybe work is a little slower. That is completely okay because spring naturally is when we allow our manifestations to unfold, where we really, where it's a nice potent time to do the hustling because the seeds that we've planted in fall and winter are being able to blossom and bloom. And so keeping that in mind when we have this conversation. Last year, I want to say a part of me actually feels like it was around this time last year because I remember doing a 21-day fast and we were like going to church at the time. And a part of that fast was morning services. And I remember listening to it at the gym. And it was interesting because they talked about the stages of change. And in therapy, we talk about the stages of change. That's something that we've learned in our training. And it is used to kind of measure how open a client is to working on their goals. A lot of people really use it for individuals who have challenges with substance use or substance abuse, who need motivation to change certain things. And we'll talk a little bit about those stages. But what I thought was very interesting from the podcast that I listened to is one of the stages that they talked about is uninformed optimism. And I think as it relates to why people fall off at the beginning of the year is because a lot of times we have these goals, we want to do these things, and we're optimistic, we're excited, we can think about the goal, we think about who we're going to become at the end, we think about the outcome, and it's like, yeah, if my goal is to save $100,000 at the end of the year, I'm excited that I'm going to have $100,000 liquid. If my goal is to lose weight and to have abs, I'm excited that I'm going to be wearing a bikini in the winter and it's snowing and I'm going to be cold, but I just want to look that good, or whatever the goal is. And that is okay. I think it's important for us to see the vision or to see the end result so that way we can follow through with the vision. However, we sometimes can be so optimistic that we're not really realizing what it takes. Yes, you have the abs, but are you okay with making sure that your diet is very intentional? Are you okay with making sure that you have a training schedule, and even when you don't feel like it or you're too tired or you would rather not, it's going to require you to get up? Yes, you want this monetary goal, but are you okay with saying no to brunch? Are you okay with not spending $7 on Starbucks every day? And oftentimes we're like, yeah, I'm okay. But those decisions take a lot of discipline, take a lot of self control, and take a lot of openness to be okay when you make a mistake and to get back on the bandwagon. And although those things sound easy, if you are used to going to brunch every week, it is very difficult to tell your friends, I'm not doing this, because are you fearful of losing friends? Are you fearful of realizing that you don't really have much in common with your friends other than wanting to drink and turn up? And that then means you're losing relationships. That is hard. Are you okay with Starbucks, and no shade to Starbucks, but coffee, whoever you get it from, although you may use it as fuel in the morning, because you're saving that money, maybe we got to be more intentional about our sleep. Therefore, we're putting down the TV right before bed. We're sticking to our schedule. And all of those things require different versions of ourselves. And so, of course, that podcast episode talked about all the different stages. But that first stage really stuck with me because a lot of us do it. We're so excited, we're so optimistic, and that is so important. But we're uninformed about the tedious, step by step, day to day commitment that comes with it, and the version of yourself that has to die to show up. And so I think that's a part of why people say we fall off. Because once you start realizing, like, hold on, I can't make it through the day without the coffee. And I ain't trying to go to sleep early. And I'm not trying to learn how to make my own coffee. So you know what? I'll try next year. A lot of us do it. And there's no judgment about any of that. But it's the reality of some of our situations. And so in therapy, the stages of change are pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, action. I'm missing one. Pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, action, maintenance, and relapse and termination. And so we can have a whole conversation about those stages of change, which may have been beneficial. So I guess I'll do like a quick synopsis. Obviously, pre-contemplation is sometimes there's a lack of awareness that there needs to be a change. Like, I'm not really sure. Someone told me to come here. I think it may be best, but I'm just here. Contemplation is like, okay, I can see why there's benefits. It's scary. I'm not really ready yet. But let me hear you out a little bit more. Preparation is, okay, I do know I'm scared. This is how I typically respond. I do want to do this, but what do I do to make sure I'm successful at this? What are some tools that I can gather to make sure that I execute this well? And then there's action. We have the plan. We've already prepared. So let's follow through with it. And then there's maintenance, right? Because life happens. Things throw us off. It is difficult to, again, kind of like die to those old versions of ourselves when we're just so used to different behaviors. So as we've prepared, how can we maintain, how can we take into account those moments where emotions are high, or where things outside of your control come up and we need to have some sacred returns? And then we have relapse and termination. This is probably my favorite stage, because at first, when I was learning these stages of change, I'm like, why are we okay with them relapsing? Is the whole point for them to stay sober? Is the whole point for them to actually stick with the plan that they said they're coming here for? And especially in the context of therapy, like, you're here for therapy. And again, no judgment. This was grad school, naive, not in the field experience me. But it was genuine confusion. Like, why are we it felt like we were promoting relapsing, but being in the field, understanding my own life and the reality of things is that we're human. And this is why it is my favorite part, because it really values and takes into account our humanity. The fact that we're not perfect and we're not meant to be perfect. And sometimes we have slip ups. Yes, I made the intention to not spend $7 every morning, but maybe one morning I ran out of coffee and creamer and I have been intentional all week and I needed this morning. That is okay. That is fine. The goal is to not say, dang, I had this moment. Now I got to buy coffee for the rest of the week because I already messed up. So I'll try again next year. No. And again, when you also think of the context of how this theory or kind of started or this intervention started, just because someone is in recovery and they relapse does not take away the fact that they have been doing the work, does not make them a bad person. And this is not a conversation about grace with individuals or family members who have challenges with substances. But it's on my spirit to say, if someone is coming to you and telling you about something, and I can be more graceful with this, even just in responses or behaviors that I thought were done. Just because someone has a slip up does not mean they're a bad person or they're not working towards a change or they're screwed. And this goes for how we interact with other people on their journey and ourselves. And so grace, 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 grace. Right. So with that being said, I want to kind of, again, talk a little bit about this journey of vision boarding and what I personally did this year. So if we're being honest, I'm not really a vision board person. I think I did a vision board once in college because it was a party. There were drinks. We were in pajamas. YOLO. Me and Bay have done a few vision boards with like words and different things, but we've been together 7 years now. I won't lie and say we've done it 7 times in a row. However, last year and this year, we decided to do something a little bit different. Half of it was for aesthetic. But 90%, not 90, 75% for me was aesthetic, where we did these like, I don't know if it's like an 18 by 20 frame. And we literally put pictures of different facets or things we would like to manifest mentally, physically, spiritually, in our relationship, business, and so forth. And we put like visual pictures of those things. We put it in black and white. So it was so cute. And that felt so resonant because being able to see it, it didn't feel intimidating. It was like real life pictures. Most of them we got off Pinterest. And so it felt very attainable. And being able to just look at it, it wasn't just decor, but it looked nice. And I must say, a good part of that vision board, for the language of this conversation, came to pass. What I wanted to do differently this year is, although some of those things came to pass, I still want to work on them. So one of the things, it could seem silly to someone. One of the pictures I have is some like really nice, drippy, sexy ear candy. And my ear is getting really, I got to start, I got 2, did I get 1 piercing? I got 1 piercing, 2 piercings? Well, 2 piercings, but 1 on each side. So I got 3 holes now. And then I got a neck tattoo. And again, it may seem small and minute, but it was so beautiful. What I mean by this is, 1, we still got some piercings to go. And 2, the next piece of that is, although I have like sterling silver earrings, the next level up is I want some real diamonds in these ears. I feel like, and so again, very small to some people, but it was on the vision board. And yes, I can take it down, and because yes, I started working towards it, but I still have more to work towards. So I kept it up and added different things. And so that's kind of the direction we went into. And I like it. I mean, I can't say that we're going to do it every single year, but I really enjoyed it. And I like being able to visualize it. I'm excited about that. And let's be honest, now I may not have done vision boards before. It probably was a little bit of laziness, but it also just really didn't resonate with me. And again, I'm not downplaying vision boards. Do what feels good for you. So I've been more inclined to also identify my word of the year these last few years. Again, if you've been following us, 1 year was consistency. I think we posted, we did not miss a Sunday, our first year of podcasting. Granted, I had nothing but time, space, opportunity, and not big girl responsibilities. We wanted community, and although those are my intentions, it really didn't unfold or manifest in the way that I would have liked. And to be honest, to hold myself accountable, my problem is that I mentioned it in the beginning, but I wasn't really prepared for life happening, right? Similar to what we discussed in the beginning, I had this uninformed optimism. It sounds nice to have community, but I was not prepared that community means more reach. More reach means getting more visibility. More visibility means really understanding and taking it as a business. And although I'm not perfect in it now, these last few months have been so much better than the last 4 years. And we're on year 5 and we're actually in year 6 of potting. In November 2026 will be 6 years of potting, which is crazy. And so I can hold myself accountable and say, although I had words, they sound nice, it wasn't at the forefront of my mind. And so this year, my word is execution. And so execution means the carrying out or the putting into effect of a plan. And why I'm optimistic about executing and really being intentional with that word for 2026 and so on is because I am not doing things out of lack. The transition to Orlando was stressful. We, had to experience real life adulting things to be able to understand, to steward our stuff well, to be able to learn. And it was so needed. In the moment, I'm like, God, can we learn in another way? But of course, now I wouldn't take it back because that's exactly what we needed. I needed to evolve my relationship with money when I never really had. Well, I guess I didn't think I had an unhealthy relationship with money. Money was never like a stressor in the top of my mind until it became a stressor. And then I had to understand the frequency, the vibration of money, how we talk about money, not avoiding money. And so I'm also not only letting my emotions lead. We've kind of talked about this in which episode was that? I'm not sure which episode it was, but we talked about how I am a very emotional person. I'm very emotion focused. I think emotions are very important. They give a lot of information, but I had to learn in real time. Emotions give you information. They're not good managers. And that is okay. I can still be the emotional, sensitive person that I am. And I had to learn to, one, not water myself down because I felt like it was a bad thing or it didn't sit well with other people. So I had to gain confidence in that, but also take accountability that just because you have an emotion about something does not mean that you have to stop it from allowing you to move forward. And so that's another reason why I feel optimistic and informally optimistic about this year, because I can recognize when something is an emotion and take full accountability. If I'm like, yep, I need comfort in this moment, I'm acting out of emotion, and that's fine. Versus this is how I'm feeling, but this is the time to do this. This is the time to record the podcast. Yesterday, you and Bay laid in bed until 2:00. That's okay. You needed it, but go ahead and get on up today. Do what you got to do. And so I feel I have more trust in myself that I'm going to execute when I need to. Lastly, I'm also no longer bullying myself into consistency. And this is how the thought of sacred returns came up. I'm like, oh, well, I'm not doing something every single day. I didn't post. This is not good enough. I'm going to fall off. And it was so mean. Like, you can't bully yourself into productivity. You can't bully yourself into prosperity. Like, it's just not going to work. And so I, again, have learned what consistency looks like for me. I've learned how to steward my energy well. And I'm learning what things drain my energy and what things don't drain my energy, and being cognizant of that when I do have to show up and do what I need to do, while again, giving myself grace that I'm human and that I am not a hamster and I can't just keep going. I'm not a manifesting generator. I'm not a generator. I can't just go, 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 go. I need to take a second. I need to take a beat. What episode was that? I was talking about like the different layers of myself. Well, you know what? That hasn't been posted yet. Actually, this is the episode right before this, where I kind of talked about all those things. So yeah, y'all, I really wanted to share this with you guys. And I thought that this was a nice follow-up episode to our previous episode. So if you have not already, go check that one out. Either pause, well, at this point, we're at the end of this episode. So go listen to it after this. But I have really just been trying to figure that out. And again, I'm not perfect at all. There's so much more to learn, especially because I'm changing. I evolve daily. But my question for you is, what is your word for the year? Even if you've done the vision board, even if you did not, what are your intentions, your motto for this year? And to make it a journal exercise, I invite you to identify, what do you need to show up as this person? Again, for me, my word is execution. So I need to not bully myself into consistency. I need to release and continue to release the spirit and perception of lack, right? And I also need to be okay with being aware of my emotions, being a sensitive person, but not letting it be an excuse as to why I can't follow through. And I'm sure I can also identify other things as well. And so what do you need? And to be honest, even if I was aware of these things last year or the year before, timing. We talked about this in the most recent episode as well, a letter to time. I could not have execution 2-3 years ago. It wasn't going to work because, again, I had to learn my relationship with lack. I had to develop a spirit of lack first. I had to learn being okay with sacred returns. And so please remember to be graceful with yourself. What is a word that you can have this year that does not feel like it'll be a betrayal to who you are in this season, but that will also get you outside of your comfort zone? Okay? All right, loves. Please, please, please do me a big, big favor. Please like, please comment, please share this episode with someone that you feel like can benefit from it. Please follow us on social media. I really appreciate if you share. I'll see you guys next week. Namaste. Thank you, my loves, for taking the time out to listen and join the conversation. I really hope you all enjoyed it. Please don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast. If you've done so already and you like the vibes, be sure to write a review wherever you're listening to Shots of Serenity. It truly helps. Also, feel free to email or DM us with any recommendations, questions, comments, or concerns. Our email is shotsofserenity@gmail.com. Our Instagram is shotsofserenity_. And those are all spelled the exact same way it is spelled on our podcast. I'll see you guys next episode. Thanks again for listening. Peace and blessings to you all and your families. And I hope you all have an amazing week.